Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Real Issues with Ola. Today, I have a beautiful friend of mine. I call her a woman of grace and class. She is a wife, a mother, and a businesswoman. She's here to tell us her story, and I hope you get inspired by her story. So join me to welcome, I call her Eki, but she's going to tell us her full name. Join me to welcome Mrs. Eki. So can you tell us your full name and your background?
Okay, my full name is Ekanem Essien Akporhonor, so you can guess the Essien was my maiden name before I got that long, stressful name at the back. I'm Efik, so I'm from Calabar, born in Ibadan, so maybe that's why I gravitate towards Yoruba people.
Wow.
Yes, born in
I
Ibadan.
never knew that about you.
Yeah, born in Ibadan, lived there for I think about 5 years before my parents moved back.
Are you for real?
For real. I can't speak a word of Yoruba, so don't ask me anything beyond Paoni. And Mo was sorry, gone, because you have to apologize all the time. So I grew up in Calabar, schooled in Calabar, primary, secondary, and university. Secondary I schooled in Abuloma, Federal Government Girls College Abuloma, boarding school. And then did my 4 years of uni in Unica. Studied chemistry.
Wow.
Yes, studied chemistry. Worked in Shell, production chemistry departments in Shell, and then in a water bottling plant where I was the quality control manager. And that was my life before we moved to Australia.
Wow. So when you got to Australia, were you still following that line?
No. When I got to Australia, I went into medical admin. So just did like a diploma in medical administration, and then from there, always worked in the hospitals. So worked first in Harvey Bay Hospital.
Wow.
For a year. Then we moved to Biloela. For those who know us, we've moved pretty, much. Moved to the village. My husband has been a village doctor for forever. So I worked in Biloela Hospital for 3 years. Went to the UK for a master's for 2 years. Came back to Biloela. Worked for another 1 year. Worked a year in Gladstone before we moved to the Sunshine Coast, where I continued again in medical admin, but within human resources management, because that's what I studied for my master's.
Wow.
Yes, so I did that for, how long did I do that for? I think about 4 years before I decided to start business.
Yeah. Wow. So you are into 9-to-5 job, yes, like most people. So what makes you jump out of your 9-to-5 job?
Yeah.
What makes you jump?
Craziness, isn't it? Foolishness. That's what made me do it.
What do you mean by foolishness?
Yeah, because it was just the desire to own something. You reach a certain stage of life, and for me, I said 40 was my cutoff for doing 9-to-5 for someone else. I just wanted to own something of mine. I'm not against it, but just that challenge of owning something, maybe pairing with someone to own something, put whatever talent I feel I have to use and see if I could make a bit of money from it. So it is craziness, isn't it? It's craziness to go into business. You're a businesswoman.
Don't come to me.
It's
not about you.
No, and you know how it is. So
yeah, I know.
Let's just say that's what just drove me. Just the desire to own something, do something with what I know that I have and I do well, and just turn it into something lucrative.
Wow.
Have a bit of fun on the way as well.
Wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah, somewhere in my 9-to-5, when I started thinking that I wanted to do business within a certain, the field that I wanted to do it in, I decided to study for it just to see if it's something that I might like to do.
Wow.
At the end of, whatever the training would be, to see, does this stimulate me? Does it excite me enough to want to leave this 9-to-5 that is paying me money for sure, and go and do it? So I did a diploma within this.
Within that.
Yeah, I did it. And I got some training as well from a coach.
Okay. Like an apprenticeship, sort of.
Well, I wouldn't even call it an apprenticeship. I wasn't fortunate enough to get that. So it was just a hard one to find an internship, an apprenticeship. I think partly because of my age at the time.
Okay.
People were a little bit nervous to take me on as an, in this job you'll be an intern. People were a little bit nervous to take me on as an intern. So I just went through coaching.
Wow, that's
And then,
beautiful.
yeah, and before I launched into it, of course, I did, a little bit of a test run
Yeah.
with family and friends and all.
So you tested the waters before you jumped.
I tested the waters before I jumped, yeah.
Wow. Were you scared?
I was terrified. I've never, I had the phase of babies waking you up in the middle of the night. That's something concrete. You hear a cry, you wake up, you feed them, you tend to them. And then for the first time in my life, I was waking up in the middle of the night like, what are you doing? What do you want to do? Why are you
Was
doing
it
this?
anxiety?
So, yeah, anxiety that it may not work. Anxiety that they say, 20% of businesses, would shut down by the end of, the first year anniversary of that business. There is that saying. Anxiety because it's the chances of succeeding, they are there, but they're very dismal.
But you still went ahead.
But I still went ahead, and that's why I first said it's foolishness that drove me. You can't say I'm always wise, but I still went ahead, yes.
But while you were at your 9 to 5 job and you were testing, so what exactly, can you tell us the turning point? What makes you just say, okay, I know you said foolishness. I know you said something about foolishness,
Yeah.
but at what point, and you tested the water before you jumped. So at what point did you just make up your mind like, okay, if I sink, I sink. I'm going to jump.
Oh gosh, at what point? I had an external driving force, which is that within my 9 to 5, my contract for the particular department I was working in was slowly coming to an end. And when they were going to renew it, I had to move to another department, which wasn't that appealing. Same conditions, a lovely place to work and everything. But I thought, I don't know that I want to do this, for another, a whole week, 9 to 5. It wasn't exciting. The thought of it wasn't exciting. So that was one. Then number 2, my first job within still doing 9 to 5, my first showcase, should I call it my first showcase? It was not intentionally put out there. But then I had this lady, this angel from nowhere until today. I've never seen her, but let's say she was my first client. She stumbled across my job somewhere and chased me and pursued me to do something for her. I hadn't finished my study. I hadn't yet gotten the certificate. And when you're kind of, doubting yourself, you start procrastinating, you're saying, I won't start until let me get this
Let
first.
me get this first.
Let me finish this first. And let me keep on to what I know first, just holding on to what's more familiar. But this lady chased me and chased me and chased me. And then, perhaps I should have said 3 things. And then I have this other lady in church, in my connect group, kind of the leader of my connect group. And she said, we're having a talk. She knew. I would always confide in her. And I would tell her, I've almost finished this study and I'm getting to that major crossroad of should I go, should I not
go?
I haven't found an internship, so I'm just going in blind. I don't know what to do. And I said, so I'm still praying about it. And she said to me, well, some things you can pray on for years before you get a push and get to move. But some other things, God can only move when you move.
When you move, yeah.
Yes. That was the most profound thing I've heard in a long time. And she didn't know how much that resounded. Really, she did not know that was literally my turning point.
Wow.
Literally, just that. She said it with a smile and she went on. And I just realized if I don't move, God's not going to move. He's waiting for me to move. Like, how much more could I wait for him? I was praying every day, hoping every day, but that was it.
Well, I hope you catch that. No matter how you pray, sometimes God will not move unless you move.
Yeah.
So you gotta move.
You gotta move. You got to take that leap.
Wow, that's beautiful. So what exactly is this business? I want you to, for the purpose of the people viewing at
my business is interior design and decoration. So I make living spaces beautiful.
Wow.
In the story.
Interior designing. So what makes you choose that? Why not go and sell groceries or do some other businesses? There's so many businesses. Why interior decor?
Why interior design? Because number one, I love beautiful things, beautiful spaces. Everyone knows that about me.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, living here, we're fortunate to live here in the Western world, and the detail that's gone into making things, just the environment beautiful. Whether it's an office, whether it's a class. I'll go places and I'll sit down, you see me staring at the wall, and people will wonder, people will do this to me thinking, where is your mind? I'm thinking, and I say to them, my mind is, if this wall was orange and I put this there, do you know how this room would look? I would do things like that, go into people's houses and reorganize, and in my mind I've redesigned their entire house and they don't know, they're serving me lunch and I've redesigned the entire house for them. Just wanting to make it better. That always just drove me. It's just the beauty of it. I love it so much. It's my happy place. And when I think about that, when I go into a beautiful building, my heart expands like twice its size. It just told me that was something I was meant to do. And I think I'm a little bit good at it as well.
Can we call it inbuilt talent or your gifting?
I think so. Yeah. I did not know. That's the other thing. I didn't know that I was good at this.
Until you tried.
Until I tried, until I started loving it so much, until people said to me, why are you studying? I had people like at work, a few who knew I was doing it, said, what's this waste of money that you're doing?
You're doing masters everywhere.
They said to me, yeah, why are you studying for it? Have you got money like that? And, a friend said, I could study this. I could go and study this in the most expensive interior design school, and I still won't be able to do this. It's a gift, why study? But that's another, another story for another day. But yes, there was also the internal thing that I knew how to make my little space beautiful, and people who come, to my home will be like, oh, I like this, I love this. I wouldn't have thought of putting this and this together. So the more, all of that had to play in my mind for me to know, you've been asking God what your talent is. This is the talent that you have.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the talent that you have that's sitting in here that you can do something with if you really want to.
That is it. So, in this field of interior decor, because, you see so many online advertising, what can you advise for people who wants to venture into this? What can make them stand out?
I know that talent is wonderful, but there's a technicality to everything that I think it just takes wisdom and humility to learn.
Wisdom and humility.
Yes, as much as you're amazing with colors and choosing stuff and all that, if you hone that talent by learning the reason why things are done and learning how to, within that field, solve problems. It's always, as interior designers, people always say to me, it must be such fun. It's fun to shop for chairs and beautiful things. It's not about that. It's about providing solutions. Why don't I enjoy cooking in my kitchen? It's because your cabinets are not positioned the right way. It's because the lighting is hitting you the wrong way in your lounge, so you don't enjoy sitting there. It's finding solutions to make your living, really, really your best kind of living. So I would advise anyone that wants to do it. Number one, if you're good at it. So don't waste too much time thinking about it. Sharpen your skill in it so that you're presenting something to someone, you're presenting them to them, you're selling to them the reason why they need interior design services in your house is to fix so many little problems, apart from making it beautiful, to fix so many little problems, and then, of course, to, at all times, never ignore the details. Don't be someone that, slapdash and all of that. Doesn't matter how hurry the client is, doesn't matter how little the money is, to always be a detail-oriented person. It really matters. It's all in the details.
Oh, beautiful. So how long have you been in this business?
2018 till now, so 5 years.
5 years. So what makes you Eki? What's the name of your business? Stand out.
My business? Door 42 Interiors.
What makes Door 42 Interiors stand out?
Oh my gosh, I do hope that it stands out. I know The one thing my clients really, really love about me that everyone has said in common is the service that I give to add to the skill and talent that I have. Before I became an interior designer, I always looked at them as, very, very snooty, very high and mighty. Yes, you can design a place, and so what? I didn't look at interior designers as nice people, or people that, that were necessarily friendly. And many clients that I've met along the way have always been nervous to get an interior designer into my home because I feel that maybe I don't have enough money.
Yeah, so many people are scared.
Yep.
You guys are too expensive.
Yeah.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, and then because I cannot afford it, some person is going to walk in my home and look down on me. Many clients have said that to me. It's what stopped them in the first place from going from whatever little they have, from seeking these services to make their house look better. So, but I go in, I meet the client wherever they are. It doesn't matter how much money, whether you're giving me a 5-bedroom house or just your living room. I make all my clients feel very important.
Which is good.
Which is good. So if you look on my page, I've won house service award.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I've won it since I started. So I've won it from 2019 when things really picked up until now. So every year, so house.com has awarded me, service, giving me an award for excellent service. So,
wow.
So I feel that makes me stand out, is that clients will tell me sometimes, I read your reviews, I want to be comfortable. Look, you're going into someone's house or space where they're going to live. You need to leave behind you after you're done the most amazing energy that whenever they walk in the room, they won't have a flashback of a bad memory of how you made them feel because something was not to your taste, or this chair was not expensive enough, or you're not going to make enough money. So at all times, and sometimes it's a long process, it's a long relationship. I have clients that I've been working with since COVID. I mean, what are we now? 2020. So 3 years. It's a long relationship. I know relationships can get tiring.
That's
even as friends, you get on each other's nerves. But at all times, giving them the best service possible, never taking them for granted, always checking myself, no matter how hard it is, even when I know I'm right and they're wrong, but just always giving them that service to add to my, actual design work. Yeah, service is important.
Wow,
that's what makes
service is important.
Yeah.
So, do you ever feel like quitting?
Oh gosh.
And run back to your 9-to-5 job? For the purpose of our viewers,
yeah.
Do you ever, at a point, maybe the contracts are not coming and business is slow, do you ever feel like, wow,
Absolutely. I think once a month I feel that way.
Once a month?
Maybe 3 times a month I feel like, you silly woman, just go back. They'll take you back. And you have peace, you sleep in the morning, leave your work there, wake up and, go to work, finish, leave it there, go back home, put your feet up and
come
on. Of course I do. And I know the beauty of this is how many, I've joined little groups and I have interior designer friends. I have some that I've quit, that I've said it's not for me, the stress is too much. So of course I do. There is nothing that comes without its problems. And I think, is it one of Murphy's laws that said, nothing is as easy as it looks.
As it looks, yeah.
When I see people from outside, look from the outside and say, oh my goodness, it's all glamour and glitz. But dealing with people at every step of it. So
customer relationship.
My goodness gracious. So I have, the days where you've been expecting a table, one beautiful marble table or a stone concrete table for a client, and in the first place it took 12 weeks to come. It arrives. You're so happy, you're set with the video, everyone is, we're about to throw a whole party. It comes out the truck, they open the carton, there's a big crack in the middle of this table.
Wow.
That's one. That's just the tiny little things that people don't understand what we do, is you deal with more problems than anything else. So days like that is stressful. Days that, the client is in a bad mood, so she wonders what's wrong in her life, is that sofa has not arrived. My interior designer is a problem, and she calls you and gives you a whole lot of stress.
Wow.
It's days like that. It's days like, sometimes, I thank God that since I started, I've always had a little bit of work in the background, but you have moments where it's a lot, and you have moments where it's little. I'm not going to lie, when work has quietened a bit, I don't stress about it at all. Those are not even the moments that I want to quit. those are the moments that I'm like, okay, I'm looking for a different, what angle of this business can I improve on? What can I add to it? Because it's very hard to even work on the business in the middle of serving people.
Yeah.
So
your kind of business, is it capital intensive? And what is your support system like?
okay, now capital intensive. If you want, you'd asked me earlier on what advice I'll give people if they want to get into this.
Yes.
And I said, whatever it takes to hone your skill and your abilities and to really fine tune your business, that takes money. Whatever it takes for you to stand out and set yourself apart. So there's parts of it that takes a little bit of money. The website. People may not be on it all the time, but they need a website for them to know that you're legit. And sometimes it takes people just 5 minutes on your website. They're not going to read everything. But when they found you wherever, whether it's on your card, whether it's on Insta or social media, and they click that button that takes them to your website, just the look of your website alone is enough to draw them in.
Yeah, attraction first.
That's your first. I believe in that strongly because people always say, "Oh my goodness, I love your website." It's the first step that makes them feel okay because your website represents you.
Yeah, it represents you.
You see a person, you see their website.
Yeah.
So that takes a bit of money. Yes. So obviously the little bills, the little overhead bills, they're not terribly much. I find that the capital intensive part of things is the part that where I have to develop myself. You cannot do anything without your continuous development. When we're at work, you always have your continuous professional development. As an entrepreneur, you have to develop yourself. You have to go out and network. You have to join, if you want, join associations because, they allow you, they give you the bigger, that's a bit more bigger time. You get a big time where you have bigger clients because, you get to collaborate with others. I haven't quite entered that space yet of collaboration. That's my main goal for the coming year.
Okay.
So the part where you pay money to association fees, you pay money for adverts.
Oh yeah.
Down to your card. Every year there's an expo. When we have expo season, which ranges from January to the big one in Melbourne in June, it is where you meet every supplier you can go and talk with so that you can make a little bit of money bringing clients to buy their products. So that there takes money.
Wow.
I've got to dig into the funds, pay some money, spend 2 nights in Melbourne, network with all these interior designers from everywhere, network with suppliers, network with people who can give you good deals, even find clients there. You'll be surprised that you find clients there as well. So yes, that's capital intensive. And the other part was support system. Do I have? I don't have staff yet. I want to get staff. That's something that's been it's on my mind, but it makes me very nervous to do that. I've had work experience students, and every time I've had them, I've seen how helpful they are, that they can be, but I don't have that as yet. I have other interior designer friends. I have groups that, throw questions to them when you're stuck. Oh, the client is doing this and you can't seem to solve this issue between you and a client. What do you do? I have that. Then I have the technical side of things, where I've got the website guy. He's, at least that part of my business is handled. There's someone that helps me maintain all of that. And then I've got, just tradespeople that I work with.
Yeah, the carpentry.
The carpentry, the cabinet makers. I have a tradesperson for everything.
Wow.
So they're there to help you set the other side of things.
I know you are a wife, a mom, and a businesswoman. So how do you juggle? How do you balance this? How do you balance home front, being a wife? I know you need time, with all this stuff. How do you balance it?
So that was a challenge initially, and I had to learn. I would say I've only just learned to balance this in the last 2 years. When you start this thing, people say to you, the business coach, she told me this a little bit later, but when you read all these things on the internet of people who have succeeded, they tell you have to live, eat, breathe your business. Every moment you have to be on, tuned in to this business. And when I started, of course, you're trying to build things, you're trying to build yourself up, build up this thing that you want to do. And I felt that I had to throw every single, ounce of my being into it.
Energy.
Which is not wrong. It's throwing it into it 24/7 is what the problem was for me, is that I couldn't switch off here. So, I'm going to pick the kids, and as my husband works away. So which means about 2 weeks of the month, sometimes 3, I'm a single mom doing all of that and trying to do this business. So I found that when I tipped that balance where I was giving so much into this business to grow it.
Neglecting the family.
Yeah, I wouldn't say, I wasn't neglecting them, but I was stretched thin on all corners, all the way switched on for this. And half of the time, yeah, my daughter is, like my last one, trying to play with me because she's still very young, coming. I'm like, just give me a minute. She's talking to me. I'm like, yeah, I've not heard a single thing she has said. I was missing out on emails from school. Oh, please don't even ask me to attend any school function. That would like trigger me badly at the time. I'm like, attend what? Help out in class, whatever. For I've been doing that since. This is not the time for that. Like I was just in a headspace where I felt I had to do this and focus on this to make it work.
To make it a success.
And to top it off, I gave my clients access to me for all hours.
Wow.
Yes.
24 hours.
24 hours. Big mistake. So which means if I woke up in the morning, someone that emailed me would expect that 6 a.m. If she emails me at 6 a.m., why am I not emailing back? So I had to take a breath. And in many ways, thank God for COVID, because COVID made everybody halt for a little while and then reset. So within COVID was the busiest year for interior designers. Very funny that many people,
Really?
Yes. From 2020 to 2022. When there was lockdowns, people were not traveling, people were not going anywhere. So people were sitting in their houses and going, this is horrible, I need someone to fix it.
Wow.
And because the world migrated online, it was easy. We're fixing, I was designing houses and fixing houses, renovating houses remotely. And that was also a big component of my study anyway, was e-designing. So doing everything electronically, everything is set up beautifully. You don't even have to see these people. Some of these people never saw them, never even spoke with them. Everything was emails and text.
Wow.
But anyway, COVID, we all had to stop for a little bit. And I took a deep breather. For the first time, I could sleep really well since I started the business. And I could actually breathe, feel myself breathe. And I said, I don't want to go back to what it used to be because it had lost its fun. You're doing it, you're getting clients, but you're finding there's no joy in it.
Yeah.
So I had to, when things started again, first of all, it's written there. So tell the clients, I'm available between this hour and this hour on this day. And outside that, even if it's a minute, I will not respond. That helped me take a breath. When work finishes, stop it there for a while, face the family, give them dinner, have dinner with them. I turn my phone, my phone is actually, when I'm at home anyway, my phone is far away from me. Things like that. Before going to bed, maybe about between 8 and 10, try to look in, see what I need to do, only to set, and that's just for me to set my plan for the next day, not to respond to anybody, not to solve anybody's problem. So I had to do that, just to find a balance.
A balance between family and your business. And
this, because in the first place, that's what I got into. That's what to dictate my own time.
Yes.
That's why I never.
So you, a fantastic way of balancing for you, So you mentioned something about stress while you were talking. So how do you distress? As in your own time, if not family, business, by the way, your own time.
My own time.
What do you like to do?
My gosh, some very clever people invented this beautiful wine, Prosecco. That's my jam. Netflix, Prime Video, oh my goodness gracious.
You love watching movies?
I'm very good at delayed gratification, so I wait. One of my favorite series is, I let it run until the end. Then I have like eight hours of something to watch. When my hobby is around, let me tell you one thing we do that makes me very happy. Weekend, Saturday especially, where I wake 5 a.m., not to do anything special, but to run downstairs, we fix popcorn, we get chips, we get coffee, 5 a.m.
Before the children
Before the natives wake up and start making noise and asking for things. and we just, find a little corner and we watch our favorite series.
Wow.
Between 5 and 8 a.m., sometimes 9, which is when they wake up. We would have almost finished it. We go for a walk. So those are the things that make me, I love holidays, little holidays away.
Yeah,
Every school holiday now I've started, I go away with the family. When business started, I didn't want to hear it. And I'm like, this is the best time to work. Nobody's going to, distract me. So everybody, amuse yourselves. So we go away. And, I hang out with you girls. I love dinners and all of that with friends. I even go away, on a girls' trip on my own with just a girlfriend. And those are the things that I do. And I live for those moments,
Wow, beautiful.
It's why we do these things, so that we can keep happy.
What should we be expecting from your business in the next 5 years? Where do you intend to see yourself?
Oh gosh, by God's grace and His amazing mercy, I want to have some products.
Some what?
Products, decor items made by me or designed by me.
Like your own products?
Like my own products.
Wow, that's beautiful.
I don't want to go crazy with it. I don't want anything that's going to be too terribly capital intensive, only because as much as I love a challenge, I also love my peace of mind.
Yeah.
I do not believe at this age in my life I should be having such high levels of stress, wondering what's happening. But I started dabbling in making lampshades. Lampshades, just lampshades. I wish I got one here. And I love that. I love being able to create that. I want to be able to, that's the main thing that I want to do. I love lighting. When we sit down and have this different, with interior designers, we have these talks with them. We all have an area that is our favorite area.
Yes.
And most people love, cushions. Most people love art. Most people love plants. I love art, and I love lighting fixtures, very beautiful lighting fixtures, and lamps, because I just love light. There's a way light, makes everything just all right. So I think I would like to design lamps and lampshades. That's one thing I want to do. And the other thing I want to do is, eventually just walk and close the door on residential interior design and do just commercial, just cafes and offices and shops and all of that.
Wow.
Because I found that I enjoy those a little bit more because of the duration of work that it takes to complete it. People that are doing that is for businesses. So they're like, we have this much time, we want to open, bam. So they're available, they make money available, they're not about stretching things. And there's also less emotional involvement from them versus residential. Yes. Yeah. So I enjoy residential, but I enjoy the commercial a little bit more. So that's what I want to do.
Beautiful, beautiful. Viewers, you've heard it all. In the next 5 years, you will be seeing products from Interior Door 42 Interiors. So make sure you look out for this, because they are fun. My friend, like I introduced her, she's a woman of grace and class, and she's going to come to your level. So should we be expecting something here in our studio?
Yes. I want to make over my friend's studio. Oof. I've been wanting to do that when I can sneak in some time. So yes, we should be expecting that soon.
Soon? You heard it. Soon.
Give this place a bit of a glow up. Bring some
beautiful. So please, next time you see us with the new background, it is from Door 42 Interiors. Thank you so much for coming. I will ask you this for the last time. I want you to look at the camera. You said something about when we first started. You said foolishness and craziness pushed you into this.
Yes.
And there's so many people. I think there was a saying that says the richest landmine in the world is the graveyard. I did not quote it verbatim, but I have something like that. It means like so many people have ideas, but they go to the grave with it. They don't do anything. They don't take the step.
Yeah.
So I want you to look at the camera. So many people are out there. They are still alive. Please don't go to the grave with it.
Yes.
I want you to give them a word of advice or something to inspire them, to push them off the cliff into following their passion.
I'm just going to say, take the leap. just take the jump. You know, whether it's a step you take or a leap or a jump, just do it. Just do it. If you fail, so what? It's not the end of the world. You just find something else. You cannot not give it a try. We cannot do life without being a little bit foolish and a little bit reckless. There's nothing wrong with it. That's living. That's life. You know,
Wow.
being a bit reckless. Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming. Viewers, you've heard it all. Please take the leap. It's not the end of the world.
No.
That is a word from our guest today. So till we come to you next, please like, share, and even send your comments. You can even ask questions. I'm sure she will be glad to answer your questions. And then can you give us, if people are looking to maybe get you to come in, like maybe you have your website, can you tell them your website or a phone number or something?
Yes, so hopefully you pop it on your
Yeah, we're going to
page
put
as
it
well.
on the page.
Yeah, but so my website www.door42interiors.com.au or Instagram at door42_interiors, and that's the same for Facebook as well. Any of those ones will get you to find me, and we will go from there.
Thank you very much. You've heard it all. Please head on to that website. She works within the budget, I promise you. So till we come your way next time, be blessed. Bye.
Bye.